Hi there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and this channel is all about teaching tips for new college instructors, along with a lot of ed tech and online teaching tips currently as well. And today I want to talk about 3 ways to communicate with your students and have them give you feedback so that you can improve the course as you go along. So don't wait too late for those evals, right? Especially now where there's a lot of confusion, a lot of disappointment with how the classes are formatted, whether it's hybrid or whether it's asynchronous or whether it's fully online but synchronous. There's so many options here. And so students, a lot of them are struggling and are not happy with how it's going. And so I think having ways of interacting with them and getting feedback from them throughout the semester is going to be really key. So this is what I'm doing in order to get that feedback from them. So the first thing I have is a help desk / cyber cafe discussion forum. And so this actually came from the template from my school, but I think it's a great idea. And it's a place where students can ask each other questions, like a help desk, and obviously I can chime in as well. But it's a great way to see from the instructor's perspective, like, okay, students are asking each other about this part of class. I thought that was clear. I guess not. Next class period, I can clear that up. I have a lot of students who wish they can collaborate on this certain activity. I hadn't anticipated that. All right, in the future, let's make another activity where there's more collaboration, right? So in this case, it's not them speaking directly to you, though of course you might have answers to give in the help desk as well. It's more getting a glimpse into how the peers are interacting with each other and what they seem to be questioning about the class. So it's a good way to make sure that you're clarifying that for them as soon as possible. And then the second thing, it's also a discussion forum, but in this case, I'm calling it the suggestions box. So what students can do is they can just go in there and obviously make suggestions for how to improve the class. And so I've made clear to my students, let's say something happens in class and it goes really well for you, like, okay, that was really clear, I understood that, I enjoyed that, whatever positive emotion there is there. Then go ahead and go to the suggestion box and say, hey, by the way, this went really well for this reason. I would love to have it happen again in class, okay? On the other side, you can also just suggest ways of improving an activity or something that went wrong in your opinion. So you might have, like, that lesson, I was super confused. Like, I still don't understand what X means or how to do Y. I really suggest clarifying that in future, in future class periods or with like a pre-recorded lesson or video. And so in that case, I can see too, like, okay, like that's an area of disappointment or of confusion for my students. Let me see what I can do about it. So I'm like, you can give me positive or negative feedback on here of ways to improve the class or ways to make sure what's going well goes even better. And so I think this one in particular is very helpful. So again, you're not waiting really late in the semester to find out how they actually felt about what was going on. And then my third way of doing it is I've already talked about the midterm chat, which I have a whole video and blog post about that I'll link below. But it's basically something you do halfway through the semester where someone comes in and facilitates a discussion with your students and sees what's working well, what can be improved in your teaching, and also what can be improved as well as far as their activities and their actions go. So this semester, that's not as easy, obviously, because I have half of them in person and half of them on Zoom. But I'm still thinking of ways of doing my own midterm chat with my students. So one of the key things was the anonymous nature of it, where it wasn't like I find out this person said this and this person said that. So, finding ways of making it anonymous will be interesting. I might use either Mentimeter or Pear Deck, which I mentioned before for doing anonymous answers from students, and I'll link that video below too. But I might have them say, okay, here are 4 slides on Pear Deck with the 4 questions in the midterm chat. And again, you can find those out, what those are in the link below, and have students enter them anonymously. So that's one potential way of doing the midterm chat. Another way is using the discussion forums and having the 4 questions in a different forum or in 4 different replies and have students replying to each of those questions. So it's something that I have to still consider as far as the format goes. I obviously am nowhere near the middle of the semester, but I do recommend that as a third avenue of getting feedback from your students before the end of the semester hits and you get your evals. So, you had the help desk / cyber cafe, the suggestions box, and then the midterm chat. So these are just 3 ideas. If you have your own, I would love to hear them in the comments below. If you haven't clicked like or subscribe yet, now's the time to do so. I'll see you next time.